Right, ladies, we're going to start lying down. So, just get yourselves comfortable for a moment on the ground. Move any hair ties out of the way. Give the shoulders, the back, the hips a little bit of a wiggle just to release yourself into the floor. We won't stay here long. I suspect you've just got out of bed or anything like that. But gently close the eyes and start taking some deeper inhales and exhales. Really fill your lungs. And exhale slowly. As slow as you can. And we're going to take a couple of these big deep breaths. So basically, take as deep an inhale as you can. And then take a slow exhale. And if you want to exhale through the mouth, through kind of pursed lips, do that. It's almost like you're whistling, but not whistling. And take one more deep inhale. And exhale. And then just return to your natural breathing after you've done those 3 really deep breaths. We're just going to start by moving the head from side to side. So take your head off towards the right. And then inhale it back up. And then exhale it over to the left. Inhale to centre. Exhale to right. Inhale to centre. Exhale to left. Inhale to centre and hold it here. Bring the feet together, take the arms overhead, give yourself a long stretch. And as you exhale, bring the hands up so the fingers are pointed to the ceiling, and then bring that right knee in. Interlace the fingers, place it over that right shin, lengthen the back of the neck. Press the left leg away, dorsiflex the foot, which means the toes are pointed to the ceiling, the left toes are pointed up. Press on the shin of your right leg to pull that knee a little bit closer towards your right armpit. And just breathe here a moment, pressing on that shin. And then release the left hand to the mat with your right hand. Pull the right knee over towards the floor on your right side. And then bring that right leg back up to centre. Swap hands. So the left hand takes hold of it. The right hand goes back to the floor. Pull that knee across the body and over towards the floor on your left hand side. Feel that lovely stretch in the side of the hip. And then release it back to centre. One more, pulling into the fingers again. Pull that knee towards the armpit again. And then let that leg just extend up. Take hold behind the thigh and press that leg gently towards you. And now we're going to lift the left knee so that that just comes up so it's kind of a 90-degree angle. The right leg is going to turn in the socket so the toes come out and the heels come in, and then release that ankle on top of the left knee. Take hold behind the thigh of your left leg and gently pull that left thigh towards you, pressing the left knee towards you as well, which will pull the right ankle towards you. And the right knee just kind of presses gently away. And breathing, always breathing into our stretches, our movement. One more deep inhale and exhale here. And then release your hands from behind the left thigh. Let the left foot come back to the mat. Extend the right leg back up again. And again, just give it one more little press. So you're holding behind the thigh again. And then release it. And just let that right leg float back to the ground. And let your left knee come up. And place the fingers over the left shin and press that gently towards you. And breathe into it. So you're pressing the right heel away, the right leg is extended. You're pressing gently on the shin of the left leg to pull back a little bit closer to the armpit. It goes off to the side of the rib cage. You're finding a length in the back of the neck by tucking your chin slightly. Okay, now release the right hand and open that left leg out. Pull the left knee down to the left side of your body, down to the floor. One more breath here. And now take it up, swap hands. With your right hand, take the left knee and pull it across the body over towards the right hand side. Gaze can be straight up or it can head over to the left. At this time of the morning, I tend to keep my gaze straight up, just haven't quite warmed up enough for any deeper twisting just yet. But that's a lovely stretch to the left hip. I hope you guys can feel that. And then release that back. And let the left leg extend upwards. Take hold of behind the left thigh and just use your hands to draw the left leg a little bit closer towards you. And now bring the right knee up as well. So the right leg is at a 90-degree angle. Turn your left leg in the hip socket and bring the left ankle in front of the right knee. And then take hold behind the right thigh. And again, you're in that number 4 shape. Just check that if your head's rolled back, because heads do tend to roll back with this kind of thing, just see if you can find that length in the back of the neck again by tucking the chin. Gently pressing the left knee away. And the right knee presses towards you. Big inhale and exhale. One more. And then just release that, your hands from behind your right thigh. Let the right foot come back to the mat and let the left leg extend again. Take hold behind the left thigh with the interlaced fingers. And once again, just press it towards you. And then release that. Let the left leg float back to the ground. Let the arms float overhead. Let both legs extend. And give yourself a long stretch. And now, going to bring both knees into the chest. And for just a little bit of extra core work, we bring them at the same time. So bring the knees into the chest at the same time. Hold behind the thighs, just under the knees, and rock from side to side. And then we're going to change the direction of our rocking. And we're going to just pull the legs towards us, pull the hips up, and then you'll slowly kind of get a little bit of momentum going. Woo. Oh, that's kind of like a lot of momentum for this time of the morning. Just give yourself a few rolls. If that feels okay, if it doesn't, come straight up to sitting. And then when you've done that, just find your way into a seated pose. Okay. So let's just move our shoulders around. Move our head around any way that feels nice, and then start making the movements a bit bigger. So you'll start arching the back, like you're in a bit of a seated cat-cow, making a kind of circular seated cat-cow. So you're coming from one side to the other side, and then take it the other way. And you can hold the knees if that helps. And then find yourself in center. And do a few more alternate shoulder rolls, front and back. Okay, and then let's take our arms up the side of the body, big circle. Let the palms find each other. Reach up. And then I want you to interlace the fingers and turn the palms up so they're facing the ceiling. You're still staring at the back of your hands. And bring the gaze forward. And pull the shoulders back. Lovely. And then release the fingers and let your left hand come down to the mat and let your right hand stretch overhead. Ooh, reach away. And then take an inhale, coming up, reach up, other side. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches overhead. Lock into the ceiling. Okay, with that, we'll do that one more time on each side. Let's lift up and exhale. And then lift up and exhale. And lift up, and then we're going to come forward. Exhale forward, release everything. And again, if it feels nice and you want to, you can just kind of sway from side to side here. Just see what your body needs today. Check in with your spine, check in with your back or neck. Maybe it needs a bigger, deeper breath. Maybe it needs a little wiggle. And then bring the hands onto the floor, walk them back behind you, and open the chest to the ceiling. Okay, and then come back to seated. Find your way into your tabletop. So come over the knees, hands planted under the shoulders, knees under hips, fingers are spread, middle finger is facing forward. And we're going to move into our cat-cows from here as well. So take an inhale as you lift the hips, let the belly move towards the ground, open the chest and look up. And then when you're ready to exhale, take it the other way. So tuck the tailbone under, move that feeling up the spine, push the shoulders away, and look under towards your navel. And then again, just see when you're ready to inhale, and when you are, let the tailbone lift. The movement always starts at the tailbone, and then it travels up the spine and finishes at the head. And then again, when you're ready to exhale, tuck the tailbone under. It's like you're moving a ball of energy up the spine. And the ball of energy always starts at the tailbone. But it doesn't need to be in a hurry. So if you want to just hold your cat for a bit longer than you might normally on any particular day, feel free. Kind of mobilizing the spine. So we just need to, every day the spine's going to want something a little bit different based on perhaps what you've done the day before. So take this time to check in with it. Okay, now after your next cat, just find yourself back to neutral. Engage the core. And then push the left foot away and let it slide up to hip height. And then bring the weight into the left hand and let your right arm reach forward. Square the hips. Hold it here. I'm going to hold this for 2 more breaths. And now we're going to just pull the knee and the elbow underneath us, touch them together, and then press them away. Bring them back under, touch them together, and press them away. One more time. Underneath you, touch the knee and elbow together, and press it away. And then just release the hand and foot back to the mat. Reset for a moment. Take a big deep inhale and exhale. And then press the right leg away and up to hip height. And your weight just comes a little bit into the right hand. And you press your left arm away. So you're one long line from your left fingertips to your right heel. Engage the core, square the hips. And use that core to keep yourself still. And we're going to hold this for another couple of breaths. Okay. And now again, drawing the elbow and the knee together under the body, lightly touching them and sending it away. We inhale as we bring it under. As you know, we exhale. Hold on a minute. We inhale as we reach it away, as we expand, and then we exhale as we bring it under. Yeah, that's it. So we inhale on expansive moves, and we exhale on contracting moves. I think that's 3 there, so let's leave it there. I lost count. All right, resetting. Coming back to neutral. We're going to tuck the toes under, but we're just going to lift the knees a centimetre off the ground to start with. So lift your knees a centimetre off the ground. Use that core, feel that core engaging when you do. It's a small move, but it can be quite intense. And then release it. And now leave the toes tucked. We're just going to walk our hands back. And for a moment, we're going to sit back on our toes, on our curled up toes. Give it a little stretch. I say little, it's quite a deep stretch into the soles of the feet and into the joints of the toes. While our toes are doing that, we're going to bring our arms up overhead. Bend our right elbow back, our hand behind the back. Take hold of the right elbow with the left hand and gently press it backwards. Opening the chest. And breathing. And just being calm and gentle and easy with yourself this morning. Okay, I'm releasing that. Sending both hands up and then bend the left elbow, take the left hand behind the back and press. Take hold of the left elbow with the right hand and press it gently backwards. Opening the chest. Big inhale and exhale. And then release both hands up. Bring them back down. We're going to slowly release our toes now. Ooh, that's a bit of a stretch for the toes. Uncurl them and gently tap the top of the feet on the mat just to kind of release them a little bit. Okay. So now we are going to just do a little tiny balance before we move to down facing dog. So first I'll press your right foot away, slide it down the mat, and then bring the inner side of that foot to the mat. Open your right hand. This is our modified half moon pose. Reach up, looking up to where your fingers are pointing, and then decide if you want to lift that top leg up to hip height. and flex that foot, the foot of the lifted leg. Use your core again to keep you balanced. And then release it, coming all the way back down. I'm just going to change sides. Then press your left leg away, round the side of the left foot, lift the arm up, reach for the ceiling, and again, engage the core and decide if you want to lift that top leg or not. You can just leave it on the ground balanced on your big toe if you like, or you can lift it up to hip height. Okay, let's release that now. So the foot comes down, the hand returns to the ground, knees come back to tabletop, and now we're going to tuck the toes under and lift ourselves up into our downward facing dog. Walking your dog a little bit, again, just letting everything, giving everything the time to release this morning, to slowly open up. So alternating the heels, one push to the floor, then the other, as the knees bend. And then keep both legs still, bend both knees a lot, and place the stomach on the top of the thigh. So very low downward dog here. Take a big inhale and exhale. And then lift up the hips and press the heels away and find your still dog. Find that lengthen the spine, see that tilting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And feeling the stretch deep into the back of the thighs. Okay, let's find our plank from here. So we're just going to sweep forward into our plank. Release your knees if you wish, or hold your full plank, high plank. Okay, now we're going to push back to downward facing dog. Keeping it lovely and slow. Alright, now we're going to walk to the top of the mat, but again we're keeping it slow. So one deliberate step. And then the other foot comes forward, a little bit in front of that first foot. And so take these slow, deliberate steps to the top of the mat until you've stepped between your hands, and then just release everything over. And now we're going to roll up the spine. Letting the head and the arms hang heavy as you roll all the way back to standing. Take the arms in a big circle overhead. Reach up, slight micro bend backwards. And we're going to soften the hips, soften the knees, bend to the hips and come forward. And then all the way up. Let's do that a couple more times. Exhale. And feel free to just let everything out on a big exhale through the mouth. A big sigh. And again, exhale. One more. Coming back up. And our last one, exhale. Come back up. Alright, this time we're going to come down slowly into a forward fold. Bring the hands to the shins and find our halfway lift. Pressing the crown of the head towards the wall in front of you. And then exhale. Release yourself back down. Take your hands onto the mat and step your right foot back as far as you can get it in a long lunge. Take your hands onto your fingertips. Square the hips. Let them sink. Bring the weight into your left hand and your right hand, and let your left hand float up. Open twist. And then take a big circle with that arm. One big circle until the arm's back up to reaching to the ceiling again. And then let it come back down. Lower your right knee this time. And inhale, come up into your low lunge. Sinking it down gazes forward, but feels okay. You can take a little micro back bend and look up to the ceiling. And then release the hands behind that front foot. Push back into your hamstring stretch. Lift the toes towards you. And then see about finding some more length into the spine again, a bit more height into the hips. And then release that left foot back to the mat. Hands on either side of the left foot. Lift the right knee and step back into your plank. Hold plank for a breath. And then let's lower the knees. Wrap the upper arms in, engage the core. Lower the chest and chin to the ground. Inhale as you sweep the pelvis forward, land it on the ground, and curl the feet and lift up into your baby cobra. Push back onto your knees, tuck the toes under. Again, engage the core to lift yourself back to downward facing dog. And we are going to walk back up to the top of the mat. So again, no need for any huge, big steps at this point. We're just going to walk slowly to the top of the mat. Exhale over. And inhale all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead, then slide them back down to heart center. And take a breath here. Take another inhale, take the arms overhead. Soften the knees, hinge at the hips, come back into your forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift, press the hands to the shins, reach the crown of the head away. And exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. Step the left foot back in a long lunge. Come up onto the fingertips and sink the hips. And then plant your left hand back to the mat inside the right foot and let your right elbow and arm reach up, unfurl. Reach for the ceiling with the the right fingertips. And then let that arm float back down. Let the left knee sink to the ground and lift up into your low lunge. Again, a little micro bend if you want it. Bring the arms to cactus arms. Draw them back. Open the chest. And then release forward. Come into your hamstring stretch from here. So the hands plant behind the right foot, the right toes lift up as the foot comes onto the heel. And then again, just see if there's any little adjustments you can make to intensify that stretch. So it's kind of like, if you imagine that you're pressing into the heel and pulling it towards you. The heel won't actually move, it's an internal kind of adjustment. But it's like you're pulling the heel, dragging it, like you're trying to pull the mat towards you with your heel. And then release it. Lift the left knee back into your lunge. Hands on either side of the right foot. And again, step back into your plank. Hold your plank a moment. And roll a little bit forward so that the arms come just a bit in front of the wrists. Engage the core. And then lower the knees. Wrap the upper arms in. Lower the chest and chin to the ground on the exhale. Uncurl the feet. Inhale. Sweep the pelvis forward. Lift the chest. And now we're going to come into Sphinx. So just bring the arms forward so the elbows are under your shoulders. Press the elbows into the ground. Take a little Sphinx here. Again, it's gentle back bend. Breathing into it. One more breath. And so because we've We've bent our spine gently in one direction in the Sphinx pose. We're now going to counter pose that. So bring the hands back under the shoulders, push back, bring the knees apart, and sink into your child's pose. Let the third eye, the space between your eyebrows, come to the ground. Big toes touching, hips are sinking onto your heels. Now let's come back up, find our way back into our dog. First off, we're going to step that right foot to the top of the mat. So just bring it under, step it through, and then ground your left foot. So the heel of the left foot comes to the ground, and it's on a kind of a 10 o'clock angle, 10 or 11 o'clock. And then lift up into your warrior one. So warrior one, just quick alignment check. Knees over the ankle. The knees not falling inwards, keeping that tracking outwards, pressing toward the little toe side. The hips and the chest are angling forward, and we're aiming to bend our front knee to about 90 degrees. Doesn't have to be there today though if you're not, that doesn't feel good. As long as you've got some flexion in the front knee. Okay, now let's lift that back heel and take this into a high lunge. And from high lunge, we're going to extend both legs, so both legs are straight, and then we're going to sink back into our high lunge. Inhale, take it up, and exhale, bring it down. One more, inhale, and exhale, back to high lunge. One more little thing here, let the right hand come forward, let the left hand go back. We're taking a little twist here. And then bring both hands up, and we're going to go the other way. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. More of an awkward twist. Take it back up. Bring the hands back to the ground and step back to your downward facing dog. Just walk your dog out for a moment. Hold your still dog. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So the left foot is going to step to the top of the mat. And then the right foot's going to ground, lifting up again. Same alignments, so the chest, hips are angling forward. Sinking down, holding this alignment. A couple of breaths, our warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And now we're going to turn this into a high lunge, so lift that back heel. Sink down a bit more, and then inhale, take it all up, and exhale, sink it back down. Inhale, take everything up, and then sink it back down. One more inhale, lift up, and exhale, sink it down. All right, let the left hand come forward, let the right hand come back, open twist. Bring both arms back up to the top and take them the other way. Awkward twist. Inhale them both back up to center and release them back to the mat and step back into your downward facing dog. Oh, and again, take a moment here. It's our resting pose. One more breath. Now, let's bring the weight into your left foot so that your right foot can raise up like you're trying to touch the right heel on the ceiling. Hold it there for a breath. And now we're going to open it into our half scorpion, or our scorpion tail. So let that right leg bend behind you. Right knee is trying to point up to the ceiling, and the hips, there's an expanse across the front of the hips. And then lift that back up. So once again, extend the leg all the way up. Heels trying to point to touch the ceiling. Hips are squared back to the ground. And for a little bit of extra strength work, let's bring that right knee, bend it underneath us, float forward And then touch the right knee to the right elbow. And then step it back to downward dog. That's as hard as we're going to go today for our pajama yoga. All right, so let's take the left leg all the way up. Same thing again, touching the left heel to the ceiling, holding it for a breath, and then opening the hips. Letting that left leg bend behind you. Using the left knee, try and angle up so it's pointing to the ceiling. Feel the opening in the hips. And then close it back down. Extend that leg back up. And now we're going to bring that knee underneath us. So just bring the left knee under the body, float forward and touch the left knee to the left elbow. Hold it a moment there, and then push back to our downward facing dog. Okay, let's sink our knees back to the ground. Uncurl the feet and walk back until we're sitting on our shins. We're going to do a little bit of camel here. So standing up onto your knees. So knees are about hip width apart. Hands come to support the lower back. So the heel of the hands on the lower back. And then it's a case of pulling the shoulders back, pulling the elbows closer together. Imagining that you're up against an invisible wall and everything from your hip bones down to your knees is going to stay up against the wall. And so it's just your back that arches, reaches back. But it's kind of an up and over movement, like a high jumper. Very gentle. Let's take this first one very gently. And that's enough. Let's bring it back up to centre, using the heels of our hands to support our lower back as we do. And then release your hips back onto your heels. And just bring your hands to your knees and take a breath. All right. Let's lift up again. Come back up onto the knees. Heels of the hand are back into the lower back. And again, a little arch here. Let's see what feels okay today. And if you want to try, you can reach for a heel with one hand and let the other hand extend up to the ceiling. And then swap it. So bring that hand you've extended back to the lower back. Bring it up, bring both hands back to the lower back. And then change sides. And then release it. And using your hands to bring yourself back up to seated, sitting back down, and then just taking a forward fold. So releasing yourself straight over into a child's pose. Knees can be wide or they can be together, whatever you prefer. Okay. Let's come back up. Check the time. Oh, crikey. Okay. Let's just come forward then and lower ourselves down. Uncurl the feet, bending the knees, taking hold of the ankles at the top of the feet, bringing the knees, hips and ankles all in line, and then taking an inhale, lifting up into bow pose. Breathing here. And then take another inhale and see if you've got any more height to be had, any more lift. And then release it. Let the legs extend. Bring the big toes together. Let the right ear come to the mat, so you're looking off to the left. Arms are down the sides of the body, palms facing up. And now just change the head round. So literally, we're just lifting the head and putting the left ear on the mat so that you're looking off to the right. And coming back to centre. Hands under shoulders. Let's push back to our final downward dog of the day. And from here we'll be stepping through to seated. So you can walk or float, however you want to get through to a seated position today. And then find yourself seated, lovely. Okay, right. Really lost track of time. So I'm going to have to fast forward a couple of things, but I do want to do a head to knee. So if you would like to bring your right knee in and then let it drop out to the side and take an inhale up. And then as you exhale, reach forward over that extended left leg and then take hold of whatever you could take hold of and gently draw yourself over it. Breathing deeply. And then lifting the head, reaching the hands forward, coming back up, and exhaling. Lovely. Lift this right knee back up. Step it on the outside of your left knee. And then with your left arm, hug that right knee in and take a twist. So your right hands are going to be supporting you from behind. And you're going to push into that right hand to get a little bit more length of the spine. At the same time as you're hugging that knee to get more twist. And then release it. Come back to center. Come all the way around a little bit further than center. And then come back to center. Swap sides. Bring the left knee in. Drop it out to the side. Take your arms up. And exhale. Folding forward. Take hold of your foot, your calf, the floor, whatever you've got. And gently draw yourself forward. Okay. And again, lift up with the head on the inhale, reach forward and come all the way up. Let the hands float back down. Lift that left knee back up. Take the left foot, plant it on the outside of the right knee. Hug the left knee in with the right arm. And take your left hand behind the spine, pressing into the floor with the fingers or the hand to find more length of the spine. And using the breath to take you deeper into that twist. Okay, let's release that now. So just letting yourself come back to center, coming a little bit further than center. Release the long spine off, coming back to center, and lifting that leg up, floating it away. Just take a little gentle forward fold here. Okay, coming up. Let's find our way onto our backs. So we'll take our modified boat actually. I was going to skip this, but we'll take this. We'll just do a short version. So we're just going to come straight down onto our mats. Knees point to the ceiling. Inhale the hips up. And then exhale them back down. Exhale them back down. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Feet plant again. Lift the hips. Bring the hands underneath them. Arms on the floor. Lift yourself up into your 90 degrees. And we're going to take this down to a count of 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the arms out from under the hips. Bring the feet to the corners of the mat. Arms to the sides of the body, palms facing up. This is our 2 minutes of relaxation now. So closing your eyes. Make any little movements you need with your hips, your shoulders, just to get any last bits of tension out before you completely release into the ground. And then let your breath take you there. So with every exhale, you just sink a little bit deeper. Notice the movement of your belly and your chest, the breathing. And see if with every exhale you can just release a little bit more tension, a little bit more anxiety, worry, stress, whatever it is. And let yourself relax, release, surrender into the ground. And now we're going to be completely still for about a minute. So feel free to float off. I'll call you back in a minute. Okay, now just taking a deeper inhale and your last inhale, bringing your awareness back to your physical body. Let your body take a really deep inhale. Feel the back of your body against the floor, be aware of it. And then just lift your right leg back to centre and then take your left leg back into centre to join it. Reach your arms overhead, stretching away in both directions. And then bring the knees into the chest. Roll from side to side. And then just roll over onto your right hand side for a moment. Pause there. And push back up to seated. And once you're back and seated, just close your eyes if they've kind of opened again, just for another couple of moments. And just find that your seated position. So find that length into the spine, chin is slightly tucked, arms or hands resting somewhere on the knees, palms facing up. And if you like, you can join your index finger and thumb together. And I invite you just to take 10 seconds or so to think about all the things in your life you're grateful for. The time we've had this morning together, the health of your body, the safety and health of your loved ones, the weather, anything. And now we'll close our practice. So just bring your palms together, rubbing them, finding that heat, and then taking that heat from your palms and transferring it into your eyes and letting it sink into all the muscles of your face. Opening the eyes under the palms, blinking, letting the light come back in, bringing the hands to prayer, down to your heart space, and that's us. So thank you so much for joining me.